Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Congressman Bishop, Mr. Edgar, congratulations on your nomination. Thanks for being here. It's great to see you both here. Congressman, let me start with you. The agency that you're going to be the deputy director of, and I believe you will be confirmed, look forward to supporting your confirmation.
Thank you, sir.
Is a key agency, as you know, and it includes, among its many components, it includes a very key component, the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs, OIRA. It's a mouthful.
It is.
But that little agency, that mouthful, OIRA, does a lot, as you know. It reviews basically every agency regulation, reviews it, vets it, provides recommendations on it, does cost-benefit analysis in some cases, every agency regulation that comes through the federal government. So that office is a key node in the federal government.
No doubt.
For assessing regulations. So with that in mind, I just want to ask you some questions that I also asked Director Vogt that I think are so important for those of us who are pro-life, serving in an administration that is avowedly pro-life. Just on Title 10, this is the Title 10 grant program that currently provides money under the Biden administration, has been providing money for abortion providers. Now, I talked with the Director Vogt about this. I've talked with RFK about it. RFK committed to me that he would end Title 10 funding for abortion providers. There will be a rule that will be necessary for that. My question to you is, will you be an advocate within OMB for seeing that RFK's commitment, which is also the President's commitment, is carried through, that we stop Title 10 funding for abortion providers?
Senator, as you know, my role as Deputy Director is implement the President's policy, not my own. But certainly I have taken note of what you've articulated on the subject. It has been the source of discussion. And so there's a deliberative process at OMB and OIRA that it would be inappropriate of me to get ahead of or to foretell or forecast the result of. But thank you for articulating it. It is something that I'll take back.
Good. I just want to drill down on this, though, because this is very important, and I don't think this is in doubt. The HHS Secretary, now confirmed and sitting, has said under oath that he will overturn the current rule and put back in place President Trump's rule on Title 10 funding. The President himself has said he does not support Title 10 funding going to abortion providers. So I guess another way to ask you this question is, let me put it to you this way. Do you support the President's policy, implemented into law in his first term, articulated again since then, articulated again now by his current HHS Secretary, that Title 10 funding should not flow to abortion providers? Let me ask it that way.
In my view, the purpose of OMB and my purpose as Deputy Director will be to implement the President's policy.
Okay, good. Let me ask you about the Hyde Amendment. Will you work to ensure that all federal agencies fully comply with the Hyde Amendment, which, as you know, is statutory law and has been since 1977?
OMB does play a role in ensuring consistency and observing law across the federal agencies, and so certainly, Senator, it'll be an issue we'll give attention to.
Oh, great. And that includes, just to be clear, that includes the Hyde Amendment, which is in place and has been governing law since 1977. Is that fair to say?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, good. The Weldon Amendment. Similarly, the Weldon Amendment prevents discrimination against healthcare providers who have a conscience objections to abortion. The last administration essentially ignored it. It is the law. Again, in your position at OMB, as you review these regulations, as you advise on the implementation of the law, will you advise every component of the government to comply with the law, which includes the Weldon Amendment?
Senator, it will be my purpose as Deputy Director of OMB to comply with the law and see to it that other agencies and personnel within the federal government do so to the extent of my responsibility.
Good, and that includes the Weldon Amendment, correct, Congressman?
Yes, sir, Senator. Okay. That's part of the law. So
yeah, that's good. It is. It is part of the law. The last administration seemed to forget this. Last thing, when it comes to pregnancy resource centers, pregnancy care centers, so important, provide, in many cases, completely free medical care to mothers, many of whom are facing an unexpected pregnancy, everything from health screenings to diapers, baby food, consultation, all, again, often completely free. The last administration conducted an incredible effort to attempt to persecute and shut down these pregnancy care centers. The President, in his first administration, allowed federal funding to be available and federal grants to pregnancy care centers. He said he wants to do that again. Here again, my question to you is, as you look at these grants, as you look at these regulations, will you be an advocate for the President's policies allowing federal funding to flow to these pregnancy care centers?
I will be an advocate for the President's policies on that subject, Senator. Good. And I would say one advantage that my service in Congress alongside you and working together with you on some things, Senator, provides is I did witness the evidence that you're describing about the official posture and neglect or hostility toward pregnancy resource centers in the past administration. And so I carry that experience with me into the role I seek to be confirmed to.
That's fantastic. I'm glad to hear you say that. And just to put a fine point on that, you know these statistics as well as I do. In the last administration, after the Dobbs decision, hundreds of pregnancy care centers were vandalized, were firebombed, were the subject of criminal activity. And while the last administration abused federal statutes to go persecute pro-lifers who demonstrated peacefully, according to their religious beliefs, they did nothing to protect pregnancy care centers. Nothing. Hung them out to dry, allowed them to be firebombed, vandalized, criminalized, and the rest. It's absolutely outrageous, all while denying them, in many cases, grants for which they qualify under federal law. So your experience on this will be important, I think, and I look forward to you being a strong advocate in the administration. I see my time has sadly expired, and as Senator Paul knows, I always adhere to my time limits. So I'll have some questions for the record for you, Mr. Edgar, maybe a few more for you, Congressman. Again, thank you both for being here. I look forward to supporting your nominations.
Thank you, sir.